The fifth question is compare all the proposed model of an atom given in this chapter. So this question is very important. This is a consolidated table in which I have noted down all the important points and all the major points I have included in this. So this question is important in terms of revision also. So Thomson, Rutherford and Bohr's model of atom I have compared here. So first Thomson's model of an atom. He gave this Christmas pudding like structure of an atom and he said that in positive sphere the electrons are or negative charge particles are embedded in it like a dry fruits. And he also said that positive charge particle and negatively charged particle are equal in magnitude and so the atom is electrically neutral. So atom is positive sphere, negative particles are embedded in it, and he also stated that it is electrically neutral. Now what is the drawback of the Thomson's model of an atom? That scientists were failed to explain their observations via this model. That he said that it is electrically neutral and this is the model of an atom, but their observation and their results were not matching with this model of an atom. So this was the biggest drawback of this model. Now coming to Rutherford's model of an atom, he gave this structure. He said that in the center of the atom, the nucleus is there. He was the first scientist who gave the name nucleus. And in the nucleus, proton and neutron are there and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Positively charged center is there and he gave the name nucleus. Electrons are revolving around it. Size of nucleus is very small compared to atom. The whole mass of atom is lying at nucleus of atom. But what was the biggest drawback of this model? That he failed to explain the stability of atom, because they were believing that when electrons are revolving around the nucleus, it will be in the acceleration. The objects which are in the acceleration will radiate energy. So after some time electron will lose all of the energy of that and then they will fall in the nucleus. And in this case atom is highly unstable, but atoms are stable. So he failed to explain this concept via his model. So this was the biggest drawback of Rutherford's model of an atom. Now about Bohr's model of an atom, he gave the energy levels of orbitals. He said that there are energy levels like K, L, M and N after the nucleus. He was the first scientist who gave the energy levels concept. And he also stated two postulates in which he said that discrete orbitals will be there and electrons which are present in the discrete orbit will not radiate the energy and hence the atom is stable. He was the first scientist who said that electrons will not radiate energy even after they are revolving around the nucleus and hence the atom is stable. So this is the complete comparison of three models of an atom which we are studying in our chapter. Sixth question is summarize the rules for writing of distribution of electrons in various shells of first 18 electrons. Now we know that there are four orbitals K, L, M and N, and we are filling the electrons as per the rule of 2n square, where n equals to, we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So according to this, when we are writing K equals to 2 into n, we are taking 1. So K is 2. Then similarly L 2 into 2 square, so it will be 8. Then M 2, 3 square, it will be 18. And n equals to 2 into 4 raised to square, it will be 32. So these are the capacity of orbitals. Now electrons will be filled in the orbits as per the rule of 2n square, where n we are taking 1, 2 and 3. And the second rule is in the outermost shell of the electron, whenever we are keeping the electrons as per their atomic number, when we are reaching to outermost shell, and in that orbits we cannot fill more than 8 electrons. So here K, L, M and N. So if this is the last or outermost shell, then we cannot put more than 8 electrons in this. So even though M's capacity is 18, we cannot put more than 8 electrons in this. As per 2n square, K equals to 2, L equals to 8, M equals to 18 and N equals to 32 are the capacity of this orbitals. So these two are important rules to distribute the electrons. The seventh question is, define the valency by taking example of silicon and oxygen. So first we will see that what is the valency or what is the combining capacity of silicon. To do so, first we need to remember the atomic number of all the elements till 20. So silicon's atomic number is 40. So now let us distribute this electrons in our orbitals. So K shell has 2 capacity, L has 8, M has 18 and N has 32. So now let us put here 2. So now left electrons are 12. So here we can put from 12 we can put 8. Now 10 we have already completed. We have now 4 electrons. And in outermost shell we cannot put more than 8 electrons. So we can put here 4. So this is how we are writing this. Now 2, 8 and 4 are there. So this is the electronic configuration of silicon. So silicon is lacking by 4 electrons in its outermost shell. Which is the outermost shell for electron? M shell is the outermost shell for electron. And outermost shell should have 8 electrons in total. If we want to fill completely the outermost shell, then it should have 8 electrons. Now, according to silicon's electrons, 4 electrons are there in outermost shell. If silicon wants to be completely stable, silicon wants a completely filled outermost shell, then it requires 4 electrons in its outermost shell. So, its combining capacity or its valency is 4. Why? Because it requires 4 electrons in its outermost shell. The electrons which are extra in outermost shell or the electrons they required in outermost shell to be completely filled is known as their valency. It is depending upon the nature of the element. If they are non-metals, then they will gain the electrons. If they are metals, then they will lose the electron. They will lose the electron, and by losing electron, that will define their combining capacity. Here there are 4 electrons. So it is lacking by 4 electrons, and hence the valency of silicon will be 4. Now moving towards oxygen. Oxygen's electronic number or atomic number is 8. So K, L, M and N. Here we are keeping 2 electrons. Now 8 minus 2. So now we have 6 electrons. And the capacity of L shell is 8. So we can put 6 electron in L shell. If you have any doubt that how to write electronic configuration, then I have given the link in the description of the video that how to write electronic configuration. Please go through that video and clear your doubts and then come back to this video. Now here oxygen required 2 electrons to complete its outermost shell, because once we are adding here 2 electrons in L shell will be completely filled and it will be with 8 electrons. So the valency of oxygen is 2. Why? Because it is lacking with 2 electrons. So that's why the valency of oxygen or the combining of capacity of oxygen is 2 here.